When you're creating content, a blog post, social media, maybe a video, what is your primary goal? Is it to share valuable information with your audience or demonstrate your expertise or show how you could be of service? Well, I would say yes to all of those things. I would argue that our primary goal is to make a connection with our audience. So we want to create content that resonates with our audience, that helps them feel seen, feel heard, and understood. So this is where our marketing strategy actually needs to begin, with this connection with our audience that we're trying to build. And it is through that sense of connection that we build trust. And by trust, I mean that our audience starts to understand that we have their best interest in mind and that we can help them and that they can rely on the information we share. So if that's all true, the question I have for you is this: how do you help your audience feel that connection? How do you build that connection with your content and inherently between them and you? This is where I think a lot of people struggle. And this is why it's a problem. If you don't connect with your audience, you could share all the content you want in the world, but if you're not connecting with your audience, if your information isn't resonating with your audience, they're not going to learn from what you've got to share. They're not going to see how you can help. And that means they're going to go elsewhere for the questions that you could potentially be helping them with. And that is not going to help you grow your business. So there's one thing that you can do to flip the switch and create a connection with your audience every single time you create content. It's actually a common marketing concept that I want to share with you, along with a small shift. So if you've heard this before, I invite you to stick with me, because there's a shift that I'm going to invite you to make that's going to make it even more powerful. So the marketing concept that I'm talking about here today is WIIFM. What's in it for me? In fact, let's get that puppy right up here on the screen. And this is a perspective that we all as humans think in terms of when we read a blog post, or when we peruse social media, or when we flip on the TV, or we go to the store. We're looking for that connection, for something that is for us. And if we don't find anything that's going to work for us, we move on, just like our customers do, right? So the thing that we need to remember with this concept, and the reason I have it up on the screen here, is when it comes to creating content, let's say you're writing your next blog post or your next outline for your video or your next social media post, when we think, the first thing we should be thinking is something along the lines of WIIFM. But when we think what's in it for me, that me is our audience, not us. But like I said, we all think in this term, what's in it for me, as we go about our daily lives. And so shifting it from what's in it for me, oh wait, that me is my customer, what's in it for them, can be really challenging if we begin with this, because psychologically we're already thinking in terms of ourselves, what's in it for me. This is actually, like I said, where I see a lot of people go wrong. I see so much content out there that is written for the person writing it because they love it, they're passionate about it. And while that's important, if you're trying to grow your business, the person you need to connect with is your audience. So what can you do with this WIIFM to make a small shift and help you think in terms of your customer's perspective? Instead of WIIFM, what I suggest we think about is WIIFT. Go straight to what's in it for them. I said it's a small shift, but then you're not going and translating through it. You don't have to stop and think, okay, who is the me, and get your head into perspective. You just have to think, what's in it for them? What is in the content that I'm creating that's going to serve them? What do they need to hear? What do they need to do? How will they, my audience, benefit from the content that I'm interested in putting out there? When we put this one question out in front of ourselves and start with this question, what's in it for them? We start with the most important component in our content, and that is our audience. So WIIFT, or what's in it for them, is the marketing concept that I want to bring to you today in hopes that you can up-level your content and build a connection with your audience by starting from this key point. So next time you are sitting down to create content, whether it's a social media post or a blog post or a video, I want you to start with this one question. Start here. Okay, this is what I want to write about. What's in it for them? Because when you do that, you create content that is going to resonate with them, invite them to learn more from you, trust you, and inherently grow your business because you're talking to your customers, your prospective customers, about what they need to hear most in a way that they can hear because they see how it connects to them. Let me know if this was helpful. Put something in the comments that tells me it was helpful, or if you have any questions, please post them there as well. I would love to hear from you and know whether or not this is serving you. And if you have other questions that I can address, I would love to do that as well. I am here every single week sharing ideas like this to help you promote and grow your business. And so I will see you again very soon.